Hey everybody, I'm Lawrencia. This is After the Storm, and we're sitting with somebody super duper special today, Mr. Christopher McKinnie. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm blessed.
Great. I'm super excited to get started talking to you today. You got a lot of layers. We're gonna peel them back.
Yeah. Let's do it.
First of all, I want to get started on like your upbringing, your childhood, because you're a preacher's kid.
Yes, I am.
So you grew up in the church. How did that kind of influence your approach to music?
Music, yes. I grew up in the church, so you should know that everything that I did was music in the church, starting from the Sunshine Band to the Purity Choir, then taking over the youth choir at my home church, and then doing that, and then going to national in the church, and then of course, you know, school, doing all state and all those type of different things. So all of that plays a part of my music today, my upbringing. Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say that that's kind of what's missing in today's artists, that they don't have that kind of like church training to kind of get them to where they need to be. How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's very, very important. Not always, I wouldn't say church upbringing, but just having a spiritual background and knowing God for yourself. And that's very, very important, because when you get into different things that God allow you to go into, you have to have Him to guide you and let Him guide your footsteps. So it's very important to have an upbringing of a spiritual, prayerful spiritual life. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. And you also come from a really big family. I think you have like 7
Yeah,
siblings?
it's like 7 of us. We're a great bunch. We fun though. Yeah, I love all of my brothers and sisters. Shout out to them.
What kind of like morals or values did you take from growing up in a household that big, and how does that kind of like translate into your sound and who you are as an artist?
That's funny right there, because I'm the baby boy.
You the youngest?
Yeah, I'm the baby boy.
They be hating on us.
A lot of people say, "Oh, y'all got away with so much." Nah, we did.
We didn't.
But coming up in a upbringing of a lot of brothers and sisters, it just taught me to stay humble. It's always, God always has something that's creative and special for you, because it's growing up with so many brothers and sisters, everybody do so many different things. And what I love so much about my brothers and sisters, they're very, very supportive. And we all supportive of each other. And I would say I have brothers that's rappers, I have sisters that do hair, I have sisters that do this. So we also, so that plays a support system.
Yeah, for sure. I often say that I feel like I take my family for granted sometimes, because we're such a good unit, and I think that's like the norm, that's what every family is supposed to be like, but it's really not. And so it's crazy when you see that that's not the dynamic for some people.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, I know that you said music has always been like your first love. So what was that moment where you went from it being something that you just did to realizing like, oh, this is my passion, like this is my calling? What was that like?
Let me just take a moment and to be honest. And I'm gonna back up for a second. Like I said, I started out in the church, the Sunshine Band. I grew up at South Parkway Church of God in Christ. Started there. I was 10 years old. Cut my first record. They took me out to Atlanta. Cut it. I knew God had a special calling on my life. My dad had said that when I was 2 years old, I used to run around the house singing. So he knew, and my mother knew, they spiritual, they church people. But me personally, I had this brother named Rashad, and I had to bring him up. And this was in 2020. I was not cutting music at all. We collab with a lot of other brothers, like I have one behind me here today, and just started me on this journey, and with writing and music, just bringing it back to the forefront of what I was doing, because I kind of pulled away from it because I'm into fashion as well. So I kind of like pulled away from the music, but him grabbing me, you know, by the shoulders, they're saying, "Hey, bro, let's do this because you have something special on you." So, yeah, I would say that and God, for sure.
For sure. And you also went to Lemoyne to study music. So what did going there kind of teach you about the art that you might not have known?
Voice control. First thing, voice control, learning the back history of music, learning the business side of music, and still don't know all that it is to the business side of music, because it gets bigger and bigger every day and thicker, the books. But yeah, going to Lemoyne, I had a full ride coming out of high school to Lemoyne but that didn't steer anything, because I was taking choral music, and that's more of control and not gospel. I would say that helps me with more of my control and things of breathing and like going into that.
Yeah. So would you kind of like, not to put a label on you, but
No.
what category would you say you fall into? Like gospel, R&B,
So,
inspirational?
Yeah. I tell people all the time I'm an inspirational artist, but I am also a feel-good artist. So I can do whatever that the Lord allows me to do, because this, what he gave me, is an instrument.
For sure. So aside from like, obviously I listen to your music, a lot of Bible verses and things like that, what other things kind of influence the lyrics that you write? Is it from like personal experiences, stories you've heard from other people? How do you kind of...
Yeah, everyday life, my personal walk with God myself, going through things on my own. Back in 2022, I was sick. I was in the hospital for 15 days and didn't know what was going on. And so that's another thing that kind of helped me to get back on what God has told me to do, that I have destiny for you and I have purpose for you. So a lot of this is, like I said, a personal walk with God, and him showing me and guiding me and telling me that this is not the end.
Okay. For sure, because that was my next question, kind of like wanting you to describe your relationship that you have with God now, aside from like being an artist, but just like your relationship with him as Christopher. Yeah,
my relationship with God as Christopher. Every day is a day that I can get closer with God. It's not a day that I don't pray. It's not a day that I don't go by. And throughout the day, I have to have a conversation with God. And my conversation with God is just like having a conversation with you. It's very, very, very important, because God can speak to you through things, especially with songwriting. You can be doing something and God can give you a song. So with saying all of that, and going back to the question that you said, it's very important in my personal life with God is getting stronger every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure. What would you say has like been the biggest challenge in trying to balance industry expectations with your faith and just like being an artist?
I don't like to really say but
sometimes you got to.
Yeah, because that made me think. I like that question. Thank you for that question. Ask it again.
So what's the biggest challenge between balancing your faith, your artistry, and like industry expectations? Because like I kind of thought when listening to your music, I thought about how Kirk Franklin was saying that it was hard for him, or he went through so many different challenges with how he interpreted gospel music. You know, he had the hype and a pump and up in your face, and you kind of do like gospel R&B in a sense. So has there been any like pushback or like stuff like that?
You know, ever since I came out with the first record, Right Time, I've been getting a lot of love. And the reason I think I'm getting a lot of love because people feel like me. They've been in the church. They like feel-good music. They like R&B, but they don't want to go all the way there. But you can sing about God and have an R&B feel and tell of his goodness. So that's my perspective of my music, for sure.
For sure. And speaking of R&B, because this has been kind of a hot topic, like nationally people were saying like R&B is dead, and then like last couple of weeks we've heard like people in Memphis specifically say Memphis has like no R&B scene. Like what are your thoughts on that?
Nah. We have great R&B singers. You're gonna hear two phenomenal R&B singers behind me tonight. R&B singers is yet alive. You just don't know where to go.
They're not looking.
You're not connected.
They're not looking. Yeah. Okay, and then would you say that it's like evolving in a sense?
It is. It definitely is. Definitely in the city. I've been doing shows lately with my other brother Tomorrow, and where he's just been collabing with a lot of other artists, R&B artists in the city, just giving you a chance to come and express yourself and show your artistry, have your people to come out, you know, doing promos, lining up with collaborations with like For You and chains, wings, and different things like that. So I think that it's growing in the city. I think if we stop gatekeeping and collab more, God can take us farther.
For sure, for sure. Segueing away from music for just a second, fashion, clothes. Talk to me about it. You have your own line. What kind of inspired that? What was the
what kind of inspired my fashion? Like fashion started. I'm always going to go back to my parents because they instilled a lot in me, my dad especially. But fashion goes back into my parents, though. They still in us to look nice, so I always like to look nice. But when, you know, you're going shopping with your pops and you're doing certain things and it's tweaking your eye and then you're starting to really like these things and to take it on to art and other things of the artistry, it just plays a big part into a lot.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the home base. For sure.
When did you start your line?
I started my brand in 2014, and it started out with Sir by Chris McKinnie. I relaunched the name. I did my first fashion show here in Memphis, Tennessee at Jerry Lee Lewis, it was called. That was my first house fashion show that I did in 2017, broke off into my next fashion show that I did in 2019, my own house fashion show here in the city, and I kind of stopped for a while, took a break, and I haven't relaunched anything yet because I'm just waiting for God to set some more things up, connect some more things. But I do have a new name for the brand, and it's called McKinn's, McKinnzzz, and everything would just fall under that umbrella.
Okay, how would you kind of describe the line of clothing that kind of?
Yeah, I love that. The line of clothing that I like doing would be mostly custom pieces because I don't like people to have on what you have on. So most of my things are custom pieces, but I'm getting into the feel of urban wear. I'm getting into I love suits as well, but I'm getting into the feel of, all around. Because you need to be an all-around type guy, but I'm a custom guy.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of like trends that like went away are kind of coming back, like Y2K, baggy stuff.
Well, you got to know that fashion and style is two different things. Fashion is a trend, so a lot of people are gonna go around and they pick up on Instagram. They're gonna go try to look like what's on Instagram. I'm a stylist, so I'm an image architect. So like when I get up, I feel whatever I put on, that's what I like to. And then if I'm dressing someone, I would like to build something and create something that makes you feel and makes you glow. Yeah, for sure.
And going back to you talking about how like your parents and like your siblings have influenced you a lot, how has like where you're from influenced you? Aside from just Memphis, because I love talking about the South, I love being a black person from the South. How has the South kind of influenced you as a person?
Yeah, the South has definitely influenced me as a person to grow up in this hard city. For sure. I grew up in North Memphis, went to Tresman High School, and it's created something that's unbreakable. Yeah. For sure. We can go through anything. We can run and through any test and trials that may come our way. For sure. For sure. It's taught me a lot. Yes.
Always inside of you. So to close us out, you have a song called Definitions where you say your definition of love and peace and all of these other concepts. So I wanted to know, what is your definition of success?
Yeah, definition of success. The definition of success to me is having God on your side, as long as you're happy in Him, with Him, and as long as you're doing the thing that you love to do. That's my definition of success.
And what would you say is the mark that you kind of want to leave on music? Like when somebody looks back at Christopher McKinnie, like you want them to think of this? I
love that question. The mark that I want to leave on the world with my music: follow your heart, do what God tells you to do, and there's no box. There's no box. There's always room to create more. So never be afraid to do what God has for you to do. And I want that mark I want to leave. When you hear this sound and when you hear it, I want you to feel, because what comes from the heart reaches the heart. So that's what I want.
I love that. This is a good talk.
Thank you.
What do you have in store? What's coming? What's next?
Yes. I was just really talking to the band about it. A couple of things that's coming up next. I have a Christmas EP that's about to drop soon that I'm still working on. After that Christmas EP drop, I will be dropping another single because I'm working on another album. And then I am doing a lot of things with my fashion. I just haven't did a whole launch, but I will be doing a soft launch coming up next year for the brand McKinn's. So that's a couple of things that I have coming up next. I'm trying to stay busy.
For sure. Let everybody know where they can follow you.
Definitely. You can definitely follow me on Instagram at Christopher McKinnie. You also can follow me on IG at, that is the same thing. You also can follow me on Twitter at Christopher McKinnie, that's the X. You also can follow me on Threads, Christopher McKinnie. What I'm missing, YouTube, Christopher McKinnie.
And streaming your music too.
Streaming my music. Christopher McKinnie is on Apple, is on Spotify, it's on YouTube. It's everywhere, pretty much.
All the things. This was great.
It's all love and it's all blessings.
Can't wait to hear you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I'm Lawrencia. This has been After the Storm.